At a certain point in your life, you grow up, or at least you should grow up. I had a buddy of mine who was going through some things. And when he was suffering, he was what do you say, maybe a religious type of person. Well, a lot of us aren't really religious, but we do follow religion, so to speak. Let's make it correct. I know in many of my audios I've said religious, but that's the same thing. But it's kind of on a different page. It's a complicated thing, but very simple. Where most people are just people who came from church, people who was dragged to church when they was kids. You know, we were dragged to the churches, to the indoctrinated camps, to be taught what other people think that they knew. So we weren't necessarily religious, and the typical person isn't necessarily religious, but they do follow religion or participate in religion, if that makes sense. Only those who will take it seriously, those who get into it and they want to be, they believe it, and they want to have a goal to be a minister or a pastor, and they want to be this person to think that they're going around saving souls. Then yeah, you can consider that person to be a religion or religious, and deal with piety. But this guy being of, let's just say, following religion, he was struggling really bad, really going through some things. And he told me once upon a time that he wanted me to pray for him. But in his way, it's what the church would say, I need a prayer. I need a prayer. And I had to correct him on several things, and I'll bridge to you what I said to him. But before then, I want to make something clear about that situation that I did not bring to him, but I'm gonna share it with you. What I was thinking about in the moment. Normally, coming from you could say the religious circles myself, and being so thick into it, where I was just a believer, that's pretty much all you could be as a believer, more than anything, and be active in your belief. You know, we do a definition of belief. Then you will get the idea of why I teach that belief have nothing to do with it. Belief is the same as being emotional about something. It's the same as feelings. It's just feelings. It's not fact. It's the same, because you're believing in something that has no evidence. You're hoping for something that have no evidence, and you're having faith because it's not really moving in that direction. You don't need to have faith for something that is. You don't have to believe in something that is. You don't have to hope in something that is already there before you. You already have it. All you have to do is know it with knowledge. And normally I would have told him that don't worry about it. God got it taken care of. You know, normally I would have said, just pray about, well, he wanted prayer, but normally I would have said, okay, I'll pray for you to make sure that things go well, and that God would provide a means for you and take you out of the situation. Normally I would immediately feel like I want to be, or shall I say, I would feel like that I need to be his captain and his hero, and feel like this savior of a person, and tell him something that God never said. Here we go. Here comes the lesson. And let me give you this red pill, because here we go. Here we go. I'm going to take mine right here. Check this out. Normally I would speak, listen, normally I would speak for God. Normally I would stand there and say, yes, everything's going to be okay. God's going to provide for you. Just wait on the Lord and be of good courage. Correct? Or something like, oh, everything's going to be all right because God's going to make a way. God's going to forge a invincible door to appear in front of you. All you got to do is just wait on the Lord. Just wait on God. God will do it for you. I'm pretty sure that we are all familiar with those words. If you're not, then lucky you. Listen, you've been blessed not to have heard those words, because you have a propensity and an ability, an inert chance to be more of a realistic person who will face reality than somebody who will sit there and I will call it, let me use the word, binge your life on hope, binge your life on mythical thinking, binge your life on somebody doing for you. But before I begin to, I had to think about that when he asked me that question, because he doesn't really know thoroughly that I'm complete red pill. He doesn't know that that I'm not connected to the matrix, that I'm Morpheus. With him, I have my sunglasses off. I don't have my cape on, and he just think I'm just a regular Joe. So he doesn't know the lessons that I teach you, surprisingly. Not everybody know about me, but he knows my name, of course, Leon C. Eventually he'll get it. Eventually, oh, you're Leon C. Oh, I didn't know you had a channel. But however, and I had to laugh at myself before giving him my response, because during the laughter, I was thinking, yes, normally I would speak for God. Normally I would sit there and tell him what God never said. And most of you do the same thing. That's the point. Most of you will sit there and preach and talk and listen to other people who claim to have a relationship with God that you yourself is already supposed to have. And then you sit there and call yourself trying to name this thing your Heavenly Father. How can you name it your Heavenly Father and you don't have no relationship with it? Or better yet, how can you name it your Heavenly Father, but you can't hear the words of your own Father without some middleman? If that's your relationship, if that's what you consider to be blessed, if that's what you consider to be an idea of a father and child relationship, no wonder you are all screwed up here in the westernized civilization. No wonder we are backwards thinking species. No wonder we have a loss of quality. No wonder our families are separated. No wonder we can say something and really don't mean it. No wonder people throw around the word love easy and really don't have to back it up with action. They just say love to lure you in and then hurt you one way or the other. They promise you several things because they've been promised several things, and to them it don't have to come to pass. Remember that word in your Bible? Come to pass. That was their magic word they would always tell you. They'll say, and it came to pass, in order for you to not calculate, not evaluate it, not use your intelligence to filter out that it has no logic, that is not pragmatic, is not sensible. It has no thorough grounds of anything. So they'll say, well, it came to pass, and you'll read the Bible and you'll sit there with your emotions and feel good about the situation and not sit there and evaluate what you are being spoon fed. Okay. So a lot of things have not come to pass. And some of the things that have come to pass wasn't a form of God. It was a form of man. I told you this before on the audio. A form of man, not a form of God. Okay. It's a form of man's science. It's a form of man digging in the earth. It's a form of man in his ability to ignore the dangers of their conditions. For example, I'm just going to give you a small example and I'm gonna leave it alone. Like I talk about a lot, blue pill betas here, simps, which are guys and boys. I can't say guys. See, I can't even say that. Boys who worship women, worship them as if they're gods, give them unnecessary likes, praise them, hold their skirts and their purses. They put down the red carpet and are willing to become slaves for the female. Now, if you want a little bit of details on that, these people are, I made an audio not too long ago, and I think it's called, let me see if I can find it. Where's my paperwork here? Because I don't want to get it wrong. Pull it up here. Bear with me here. So I make sure that I stay organized so I know what I've produced. Sometimes not all the time, but now that I have it at hand, I can actually get it. It is called, let me see, getting close to it. Wow. I think I probably changed the title of it. Okay. Well, I might have to. Okay, I got it. Wait. Yeah, I got it. How power is taken. How power is taken. In that audio, I talk very easily, openly, and accurately on the situation as to what I mean about how these blue pills are being deceived. So check out that audio, and you will know what I mean about blue pill betas holding the skirts of women. So anyway, I'm gonna make a long story short. So what ends up happening? Very simple. Okay. So let's say you have 1,000 blue pill betas who are supporting bad behaviors of 1,000 women who have a lack of accountability, have an attitude, always emotional, illogical. The list goes on and on and on and on. You know, the typical American dream that we can't wake up from no matter how many times you try to pinch yourself or drink. Okay. Because at this point, you know, that's what you would, when you get the red pill, that's what you generally will feel like doing. Okay. You know, escape is one of the first things on your mind. So what ends up happening is that group of women will have a poisonous mindset. They will have a mindset into thinking that every man is the same. Every man is going to worship them. Every man is this pawn, weak, blue pill dude who feels like she's everything. And what happens is there's only a few of them. Let's just say it's only, you got 1,000. Let me say it's only 100 red pill men like myself and others. Only 100. So because we are in such short numbers and because we aren't as vast as we need to be, our voices don't mean anything. Our energy means nothing. Okay. And so what ends up happening is when the girls come across us or myself, when I have my principles, I got standards, I will say, absolutely not. I will not tolerate you and your hypergamy, your attitude. You know, no, I am the leader of all I survey. I am the driver. You know, I'm the boss of myself, not you. All right. Give me examples here. I'm the alpha. You know, I have the keys to my house, my car, not you. Nor will you ever be here or around me. At that note, okay, not with your tattoos, your attitude, your big earrings, and everything that you think is going to be glamorous in my world. Save that for somebody else who is willing to be deceived, which is the blue pill beta. So what you'll do is be like, oh, really? Oh, you want to be like that, Morpheus? Fine. I can trade you. I can trade you any second. That's fine. You don't have to do it because there's going to be another blue pill beta who's going to come around and do what you don't want to do. And of course, you know how women are. They negotiate emotionally. They'll tell you, well, are you sure about that? Because why you got to be like that? Why you got to be like that? You act like you are suckum. Oh, you too good for me now? List goes on. You too good for me now? You act like you gay or something. What's wrong with you? You hate women? List goes on. Anything, just shameful work, just words, just to throw shame. That's all. Nothing really logical. Nothing that really sticks to make ground. No evidence. Just throwing stuff out there. You know, you ain't no good, and you gonna be single for the rest of your life. You ain't never gonna find a woman. And in reverse, in my mind, I'll be saying more like this. No, I'm never going to tolerate any low-hanging, low-quality, worthless female. That's what I'm not going to. That's what I'm not going to encounter. On my path, I'm going to encounter women who is loyal, committed, and worth my time, and have some virtue left over to have somewhat of a spinning while working. Should I decide to keep her around longer than an hour? Okay. But the point of this subject here, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, yes, that's real, but I'm also bringing this up to let you know that. So what happens is you have the 1,000 girls who consider, you know, me to be a jerk because I have standards and quality and high value and not willing to stoop down to their level. They will continue on because there's still 1,000 other blue pill betas that's willing to serve her. That's willing to do. You can say 900 of them now, since it's just 100 red pills, who's willing to serve her. So she's continuously going to fester. She's going to grow. She's going to create her child to be the same way. And it's going to get out of control as to what you see now in the current world. It's going to get out of control. That's just reality. So as that good example goes along, don't want to lose pace here because we're talking about him and speaking for God. That's what I was talking about. Okay. See if I can adjust this here for you. All right. So what ends up building up after that is the negativity and evil that continues to make evil, basically. And at the end of the road, or through the road, you have these so-called indoctrinator psychologists who are trained to make you think it's a God and devil thing for generation after generation, because it's a business. Church is a business. Church is a business, not your business. It's a business. Okay. So they'll tell you, well, you know, it's a spirit thing. Yes, it's a spirit thing, but it may be a spirit thing, but it is not the Shangri-La. It is not a God and devil thing, as what what they usually would tell you, or it's the end of the world, or it's revelations and so forth and so on. Okay. But all in all, it's just basically ignorance and a lack of knowledge. That's all it is. Usually it's no different than a person who's angry and I'm not going to give any examples. You know, they just stop in the middle of the freeway and want to hack at everybody right there on the freeway, you know, and only a church blindie, not blondie, blindie. There's some beautiful blondies, so I ain't talking about blondies. You'd be surprised. They will surprise you. Anyway. Yeah, that's my thing too. Anyway. So you got the church will make you think that guy's possessed. That person's possessed with the devil. That person is an antichrist. You know, that person is against gesture. Right. So you begin to think that it's a spiritual thing. You begin to think, well, the world is losing its grip on God. And you start seeing it in its masses. And it start constantly festering, like some of the things that you have witnessed in the years past in 2020, because you believe that it is a spirit. You believe that it's a God thing. You believe that's the end of the world because that's what the pastor trained you to believe or programmed you to believe. OK, because a lot of times we don't understand science. We don't understand psychology. We don't understand human nature because we don't even understand ourselves. We don't comprehend that one nail or you could say one seed is going to fester to several other seeds. Sometimes you can plant one seed of a certain kind of fruit or vegetable, and then after it sprouts and produces its produce items, fruits and vegetables, you can reseed from the seeds there. You know, that's why they started taking seeds out of your food. Now you got seedless watermelons and stuff like that y'all like to eat, which is just mutated food that I tell you not to touch. If it doesn't have a seed, it can't produce. Okay, I got to stop doing that. If it doesn't have a seed, there's no connection between you and earth. Serious and simple as that. You can't pay me to buy or eat any of that nasty seedless mutated laboratory food. You can keep that for yourself for as long as you want to. It's not natural if it don't have any food. If the earth did not produce it, why are you eating it? But y'all do it anyway. There's no point in me even telling y'all that because y'all do it anyway. Oh, it tastes good. It's cheap. Oh, it's so cute and round. Because you don't know your history. You probably never even remember when there was fruits with seeds in it because you're too busy eating and not thinking. Just the way they want you to do. Eat and not think. Amazing. That's one of the beginning reasons why we are sick and sick in the mind. Yeah, I had to go there. So because we don't know nature, we don't know ourselves, we forgot history. You know, none of us have spoken to the farmers, nor do we remember what real people are because we don't know what real fruit is. OK, we go sick. Okay, and then there we go. Our mentality is programmed by your Agent Smith right in the middle telling you, ooh, that's God allowing it because that's the devil out there. And when God get tired, God's going to rein the devil in. Do you get that? Are you understanding what I'm saying? So they will say, okay, God is almighty, but God is allowing the devil to do devilish work. Wouldn't that mean that God is the devil itself for allowing the devil to do that? So, I mean, take that to court. Just stop for a second. Take it to court. Watch this. Okay, so let's say, for example, and I'm not. Okay. I got something else. I got something else for you that some of you really know. I'm gonna stop my story and give you something else. In the past, there were dog owners. Some of you probably remember it. It's probably some of you. God forbid. Okay, I'm just saying that for your sake. And the dog owners, and it kept happening month to month until they started getting serious on what type of breed of dog people can own, because people are silly and they have no responsibility to themselves, but yet they want to own a dog that's bigger than they are and that can maul themselves and their children, and they have no good sense to take care of their own mentality, let alone a dog that is as vicious to an out of control dog, and they are themselves out of control, it just blows my mind to think about it. Okay, so these owners of dogs have allowed their dogs to go loose and hurt people and children. The list goes on. And in the news, they stated that the owner of the dog was either sued or was imprisoned. Okay, or was, what do you call that? Was charged with manslaughter. Okay. And you would say, why is this? Because the judge isn't going to lock the dog up. They're going to put the dog down, and they should put the dog down, even though it really isn't the dog's fault. Poor dog. All of nature, like I said. And it really isn't the dog's fault. The dog is just doing what they naturally do. It's the retarded owner who needs to be the one that I ain't gonna go there. Y'all know where I was getting ready to say, reverse the dog sentence for the owner. But, some people can't do that because they consider it to be barbaric. So what happened is they hit them with a hard charge. Okay. And they end up getting manslaughter. So you would say, why would the judge do that? Because the judge understands that the dog is doing it because somebody owned that dog. They want to know who owned the dog. Okay. You get that? Forgive the noise in the background. There's a lot of adjustment going on. So, let it be, as just try to ignore it while we're still discussing in this classroom of the Academy of Wow Men. And yours truly, Morpheus, Leon C., your professor, speaking to you. So they charge the owner because they realize that the owner is behind it. The owner is the one who has the leash to the dog. So if you look at that as God and devil, look at the devil as a dog. I'm just saying. I'm not telling those who worship the devil that their devil is a dog. Okay, I'm just saying there are some devil worshipers, but I have nothing to do with that. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into that type of thing. But whatever, it's whatever. You choose what you want to choose. It's your choice, your life. But hey, I'm just here to speak the truth. If I figure it out, then maybe I'll do some talking on that. But until then, let's keep things simple, non-complicated. Okay. So if you look at it like that, and you say it because you're saying God is almighty, God controls the heavens and the earth, right? The winds and the waters. This Superman, this invincible Superman that you never seen, that you never spoke to, never came and pulled your cat out of the tree, but yet you believe, which that's all you can do once again. And here we go. The funny thing about it is, which it doesn't make me laugh at all and never did, is the very fact that we say that God is in control also of what Satan does. This angel got that knocked out of heaven. And, Satan wanted to take over God's job and said that he can do the job better. All the story and the story and the story. Now Satan's getting the name of Lucifer. Unbelievable. We attribute human attributes to just about everything, and and we still don't realize that it don't make sense. That's how in our head is bludged that much. It's bludging. Our head's been bludged when we were children somewhere, somehow. because we still don't understand that even on cartoons and movies like what do you call that, Lightning McQueen, Cars, we attribute everything to our to humanity. Okay, I can't find the word, so I'm not going to try to dig into it. Okay, I know what the word is, just can't find it right now, this succession. So now when it comes to this God concept, we attribute the same thing in a story, like you're sitting down watching Lex Luthor and Superman. God got angry at Lucifer. Lucifer challenged God and knocked Lucifer out of heaven. And, he's a fallen angel. And, now he's named Satan and the devil. And yeah. And you listen, the bad thing about it, the really bad thing about it is, the horrible thing about it is, we debate and we argue from a point of human perception. What that means is, it has all been made up in human perception, not God-like superior perception that we would never understand, because we're not it. Okay, we're not in the sky. We didn't create the heavens and the earth, nor did we put the sun in the sky, nor create the air or the water. But yet we're sitting up here thinking that we can understand it at its level. You can only understand it at your human level. Do you understand? That's all you could do. That's why all you could do is believe. But we'll sit here and debate and argue based on a human's perception and think that we are correct because we have a better story that feels better and seems a little bit more accurate. Like, you can't, I can see, I wouldn't care if you've been to Jerusalem and around the world 5 times and you got this big, you got the transcript in front of you with ancient scrolls. I'm gonna look at you and I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to sit there and waste my time. You can't pay me to sit there and listen to this dumb nonsense. You can't do it, because it's still, when it's said and done, it's still human. It's still from your perception, not God's. God still did not sit there and talk to you face to face or speak to you like I'm speaking to you right now. Because the first thing you say is, well, it was inspired by God, so it have to be God. Oh, so you're going to go to an artist and you're going to buy an artist's painting and books, but that artist did not write the painting or the book. Why would you say that the writer did and the writer did not? It was someone else that represented the writer, a proxy. Okay, so if you think about it, the Bible is a proxy. Now you're gonna put your life on a proxy, your whole life on your soul on a proxy. You don't even do a proxy in your own life. You can't even sit up there and fight over property with being a proxy when you don't own a thing and it's not in your name. Okay, and you didn't create it. It's going to be taken from you. I wish you would go into court and fight over something, some owner of a property, and your name is not on it. Proxy ain't going to help you. Judge going to look at you like you stupid and say, okay, that don't belong to you. Whose signature is on the book? Oh, this belongs to Jim. Yeah, but I gave him the idea. I inspired Jim to buy these items for me. But like, no, who brought the product? Jim brought the product. Yeah, I gave him the money to buy the house, but he brought the house. It's still in his name. It's still gonna be, well, it's still his house. It's in his name. He's the owner of it. You could be lying to the judge right there saying, well, you gave him the money and made an exchange with Jim, but it's still in his name. And it's still up to Jim to say that he wants to give the house over to you and put it in your name. So practically you brought the house for Jim. So you still an idiot at the end of the day. And you still walk out the courtroom broke and stupid. So why would you sit up here and read a book and say that it was inspired by something? You're going to believe in the so-called story of all the middlemen people, and then all of a sudden say, I'm gonna put my soul on this thing, but you never met the author. It's inspired by this person who I really don't know and can't never know with my human perception. Don't you understand? You are a little man. You are a peon. You are an ant. You are an ant in the eye of a superior species that is able to put the sun in the sky. And you sit up here saying you truly understand it. You can't truly understand a thing, okay, unless you are that thing. unless you have the capacity of that thing. A carpenter can only understand a carpenter. A race car driver can understand a race car driver. And y'all are far from God's compared to what we see now in our circulation of humanity, especially in the Westernized civilization that's on the verge of destruction. So go lie to somebody else. Morpheus was not born a fool. Only fools sit there and say, oh, this indoctrination that's made up from a proxy and middleman is true. And you need a lollipop and a candy cane. And you want to sit on Santa Claus' lap and sit there and say, Santa Claus, I wish I can get this for Christmas. And Santa Claus will say, sure. And you're still sitting there waiting for your gifts. As if we're grown children all over again. You know, I thought about these things thoroughly when I was speaking to the guy, because I didn't want to mislead him like I used to with some of my people in the past and speak for God who isn't speaking for itself. Do you understand how many people have heard the pastors, the preachers, ministers, but even including myself, the days when I was deceived, tell these people that everything was going to be all right, and they still ended up with destruction and demise? Do you understand how many people kneeled on their knees for generations, prayed on their face for generations, fasted, ran the marathon, did their diligence, gave gifts, they paid their tithing and offering until they passed away? Some of them, their grandparents and grandmas did it for decades, for generations. It was traditional. Family was there, and still their prayers wasn't answered because they have this proxy of a relationship between God and man, which God never spoke for itself. So there will be no way on top of the surface or below or in a so-called heaven or a so-called hell that I would have any authority, whether I was an indoctrinated pulpit pimp pastor, okay, or a blind mice on drugs, to tell a person what God is saying. Okay, years ago, that would have put a person in the nutty house. Or years ago, you'd be like, who are you? Wait a minute. Wait. Leon C. Morpheus. Who are you speaking for God? Like, you know him? You should be like, oh, you know him? Okay, let me go meet him. Let me go see him. And then what geniuses will actually tell you. I'm being honest here. I'm just telling you like it is. What geniuses, and they're true genius, they'll tell you, well, the only way that you're going to meet the Lord is when your time here on earth is up. Then what does that tell you? What is that telling you? That's telling you that you're not going to visit or see this thing while you are in your human physical form, corporeal envelope, meat sack on earth. So if that's the only way that you can meet the Lord in the crossroads and the pearly gates, as so many people are pressing in your mind because we're still Disney-like grown children, because we go along with the program anyway. Like that cartoon character Goofy with the big two buck teeth. We'll sit up here and chase this dream because we're hopeless in ourselves. Did you hear what I said? We chase other people's dreams because we are hopeless in ourself. When you stop the dumb games and pay attention to reality, there's no need to sit here and lie to people saying, well, God said. You should stop yourself and say, wait a minute, let God speak for itself. Let the big guy come into the room, not you. You're a human being. You are a peon. You are a fragile, two-legged walking bipedal species. You have no need, no reason, no obligation whatsoever to speak for something that can speak for itself, called a superior God. Sit down. Sit down. But yeah, you know what? For generations, we went along with it. And this thing, listen, I'm going to nip it in the bud right here and now. This thing about people saying, well, the reason why the world is going and crumbles is because we stopped believing in God. Because we stopped and we turned away from our religious ways. because we stopped believing in the Holy Ghost, because we stopped believing in this invincible ghost that we never seen, because we stopped believing in ourselves, we stopped leaning on God's word, because we stopped leaning on the words of the gossip that we made to tradition, we made money off of, and it's just a business, but you don't understand about it, but we stopped doing it. That's the problem. That's the problem. No, the problem is the general population never truly had good in them, because if you really had good in you, you don't need nobody to tell you what's good, because you're going to already produce it. I said this before on one of my other audios. So if you are a senior in my class, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to expand on it. Do your just diligence and follow the lesson plan. Okay. Your task many years was to hold the baton and to pass it. Okay. Let's just say from your let's be simple. Your great grandfather, your great grandparents was given the baton of virtue, value, kindness, camaraderie, concern. Okay. Even the gossip called church and all its array of religions. Okay. Their job was to pass it on to you eventually. Okay. So that means over time, when you're in the classroom, you don't, kind of hard to explain this. You don't sit there in the classroom for the rest of your life learning the same lesson, unless you are a complete idiot and you have a learning disability and you need to be in special ed class. Okay. You in that class, you learn the studies, you remember it. And oftentimes, if you notice, some of us as adults, I didn't say all, still know how to write. We know how to cursive. We know our math, arithmetic. We know almost everything that the teachers taught us in grade school, high school, college. We still remember it. And we do it so easy. It's like breathing. So easy. You sit down and calculate your math. You do your taxes. You sit there writing a letter or something like that. Bam. It's like, ooh, look at this. Get so good at it. And the teachers that were there, if they can see you, they'll be proud. Like, wow, nice handwriting. Good job. Correct. So that means over time, you stop needing the school. Otherwise, we'd be a nation where there's school and work at the same time. We'll still be there while we're working. Okay. But no, you get up, you grow up, you go out there, you get a career, you're your own person now. Now you're an adult. So when you have a religious indoctrination or teaching, it should already be in you, whereas you don't need it anymore. Where you pass the class, it's time to advance and move on. No, absolutely not, because Agent Smith's had another plan. Agent Smith knew your weakness. Agent Smith knew that you were a fragile human being. So he decided to use the very same tools that's been used for years to mind block you, and it's been very successful, is to throw something in the middle called money, separation, family, donkey dunking, okay, and complete ignorance of history. So year to year, history has been manipulated. So that way you can forget about your lesson plans. Okay. From grandparent to grandparent, always distracting them, fighting them, preventing them for whatever that they were trying to do. Some have succeeded, but many were weak. Some have succeeded, but many was weak. They were weak because they had the lack of knowledge. They were weak because they were blacked out. They were weak because there were more Agent Smith than there was people who was logical to realize, because see, at that time, people didn't know that there were evil people that wanted to deceive them and take control over them. There was no internet. There was no smart person like myself. There was no red pill content providers. There was nobody there to tell them to be aware of the deception of the world or others, or how to build something without the nails coming out, or even stuff like the bad cars that are created. With planned obsolescence and inferior parts. There are people who deal with it, who bought the car, who put it on the internet, say, hey, watch out. These car manufacturers, they're dogs, and they're true. They are. But they put that up there, and it helps you to be aware. And grandparents didn't have that. All they had was themselves. Some of them, they had that big military phone. It wasn't, well, I think it was wireless, but that was like later after their, what do you call that? The landlines. You got the rotary phone and all that. So they really didn't have, the internet was nowhere to be available. So all they had was the news and, black and white television, or the floor television that some of you probably remember. The television was so big, it was almost like a dresser drawer. You guys just sit on the thing, and it was made out of wood, and you had to beat on the side of it just in order for the picture to work. So that's grandpa. So they did not know, and they wasn't truly elevated. Right? So it was easy to manipulate them over time. No, I'm not giving no excuses. Morpheus gives no excuses. I don't give excuse. Don't even think I'm going down that path. No, I'm a zero tolerance type of man. No excuses. Get the hell on. Absolutely not. No, I'm just saying what happened. Okay. So as time going on, the same measure began to continue. You got the school separations and the dissension going on in the school system and other indoctrination. You got your churches, and the churches selling off their people for the sake of money, because indoctrination sound good, because it was based on what? Class, based on what? Come on, I need to hear somebody. Tim, Joshua, Sarah, Desiree, are you awake? Based on hope. Do you get that? Based on hope. So let's bundle this up and bring it back to the conversation with me and my friend. Why would I stand there and give him hope about something that God never promised? Those promises was manipulated by pulpit pimps who wanted to mix the story up and tell you it's all about hope. God's going to do it. Just do this, and God, just do that. Pray long enough. Stop doing that. Put down the secular music. Do this. Pay your tithe and your offering. God's going to bless you if you just do it. Just do it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all like, ooh, we sound good. Oh, hallelujah. And you up there shouting off of nothing. You're just actually excited because you're getting ready to leave so you can go home and eat your church's chicken, the greasy stuff, Popeyes and all that kind of crazy stuff. Finger poppers, whatever they call them, jalapeno poppers. Y'all remember that? The dirty rice, beans. Ready for that stuff. Kind of miss those days as well. That's when real food was kind of like made. They had like mashed potatoes, real gravy, green beans on the side. They really put their back into trying to provide a home meal for the families. And now they just throw slop together. I miss those days. Yeah, Morpheus missed those days where you go to one of those stores. It looked like everybody was a Boston market. Everybody was a Boston market. Everybody in the fast food place, they always had extra side menus, and it all seemed like something that your mom would make. They tried to get as close to your home cooked meal as possible. And now it's like, well, people don't care about that now. Let me give you something sloppy and just throw it to you and make it all flashy and smaller, because the idiots are still going to come by and buy it, and y'all do. They make the juice bottles smaller and increase the price, and y'all still buy it. Geniuses. Instead of going to the store. It amazed me. Years ago, it was big as your hand, or for some of you, your forearm. Like, dang, I ain't gonna drink all this. How am I gonna eat all this? For a fair price. Now it's as small as your finger, and the price is still the price is increased. And you're like, and y'all still drink it. I don't know. I'm being finagled. What do you call it? Inflation, but I don't care. Let me support them anyway, while they're robbing me in my face. I mean, when they start making the orange juice bottles smaller, right? Their excuse was it's compact for travel. But yet I'm gonna sell it to you for $3.25. I'm gonna sell it to you for $3.25. No bigger than my two fingers. But yet I can go somewhere to Walmart and get an entire gallon with that same name brand orange juice for $2.50. Or for $1.79, depending on what type of season that it's in. And they're going to sit up here and sell it at a convenient mart, because they think because the convenient mart, they can sell it to you for $3.29 or $3.50 plus taxes. And And y'all buy it anyway, because if y'all wasn't buying it, why is it being sold? I remember when I saw that the first day and I was thirsty. I needed something to drink. I was 2 seconds. I was 2 seconds from grabbing that orange juice bottle and throwing it over the counter. Be like, what the hell is this? What the hell? And y'all, they'll go ahead and get the vendor too. They will get the vendor and buy the stuff, and they'll be twirling their thumbs, thinking back, okay, are they going to buy it? Do they notice that this bottle is smaller? Apparently not. The herd of cattle will still come in here and buy it. And woo, okay, always $3.50 instead of actually having a juice gallon at home from somewhere who's not going to rob my pocket. That's how the country, see, that's how your systems got over you right there. That's one of the reasons why stuff happened to y'all, because they did their test on you already. They sat back and watched how y'all kept buying the same product, even though the product is inferior. Okay. And it is smaller and more of a lack of quality. And y'all still sit there. Ooh, ooh, I'll get it. I'm hunky dory, dude. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. And they'll just put it on the list, on the checkboard, on their journal, say, yep, they are absolutely accepted to be sheep. they don't care. So yeah, we'll just keep on increasing it. We'll keep on doing dumb stuff. We'll keep making inferior stuff. We'll make products smaller and make them pay more for it. And guess what? Y'all do it anyway. And then walk around like y'all smart. No wonder you got smartphones, because no wonder it has to think for you. You can't think for yourself. Walking around with this little bitty television screen in front of your face 24 hours, 7 days a week. Because you can't read a book or open up your eyes and look at the real world. Sad and ridiculous. I wish you would say, well, Morpheus, you do that too. Now, if you met me, my hands is in my pocket and I'm looking straight at you in your face, waiting for you to learn how to talk and interface with an actual person. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't listen. Don't play with Morpheus. When I'm on fire, don't play with me. You won't. Don't even do it. That's a place where you don't want to go. Don't do it. So the punchline is this. Okay, listen. The punchline is this. Sometimes we have to be conscious as to how we are speaking to people and what we are believing in and what we are speaking for. Because you wouldn't want anybody to stand there and speak for you if you wouldn't want nobody to make promises that you yourself cannot keep. But yet they're sitting there claiming that you can do something that you can't do. Oh, they're all in your business or your district, maybe even your girlfriend or your wife. Somebody sit there and say, oh, yeah, Jerry said he'll do this and do that. And that person's like, oh yeah, okay, all right, good. Yeah, I'm speaking for Jerry. And then you'll get that phone call from your boss or somebody be like, where are you at? You be like, what, excuse me? You be like, wait. You just waking up out of your bed, right? You still got sleep in your eyes, breath smell like garbage. You got to wipe the side of your mouth because, you done slobbered all over yourself. Nasty. But you still wake up, right? And check this out. You like, excuse me? What? It's 7 o'clock in the morning, or 6 for some people, wherever you are. Yeah, you said you was going to be here. I said, what? I didn't say that. When did I say that? Like, what? How? Who said? Like, where you get that from? Well, I was talking to Jeff, and here we go. Well, I was talking to Jeff, and Jeff said that you was going to come in today. Or Jeff said that you was going to be here at the meeting. Or, this is worse. Oh, so Jeff said that you was here to sign the contract, and you didn't have no other opportunity, and signing this contract is very important for this company. And, we got millions of dollars on this. And he said you was going to be here, and it's a half an hour late. Where are you at? Wow. You didn't have, listen, you didn't have time to think about it. You don't even know what the contract's about, but you needed a week to think about it, or a month, right? And here you are automatically forced to jump. No way. No way would you accept that. So why would we walk around listening to people saying, I speak for God? Really? So why would I stand there with my friend and lie to him in his face and tell him, as comfortable as it may seem, and that's all it's for, it's just comfortable because it's hope. Hope makes you feel that way. Just get over it. All it is hope. As comfortable as it is to tap him on the shoulder and say, Well, brother, everything's going to be all right. Sometimes everything isn't going to be all right. Sometimes it will not go in our favor. And a lot of times that doesn't happen for a lot of people. And what will end up happening is now they pissed off at you, even though they figured out, well, he's just trying to comfort me at the time, but I'm still stuck. Right. Yeah, I forgive him. He's still my buddy. He was trying to make me feel better because, like the rest of all of us, we love our hopes and dreams that it's never going to be fulfilled. So he gets used to it. Unlike you, I'll be that first person to be like, wait a minute, you just told me that. No, wait, no, come here. No, don't you go. No, nah, don't walk away. Listen, Morpheus, don't chase you. I'm going to reach my arm over there and it's going to be lights out. Don't make me ask you again. You told me that. Y'all don't do that. You'll be like, okay, well, I said everything's going to be all right. And everything goes completely undercover. And we'll be doing that for generation after generation all the way up today. And you can go somewhere now in the country and talk to somebody. And this, they're going to say, God ain't going to let that happen. Everything's going to be all right. Or like our grandparents used to say, everything's going to be all right, son, daughter. Everything's going to be just fine because God's going to take care of it. Just pray about it. You'd be like, wait a minute. God never promised me anything. Who told you that God promised you spit? He didn't even promise you the raggedy legs that you're standing on. But you're going to sit up here and say he promised you? There is no promise. The only thing that's usually a promise is what you do. It's your actions. It's your knowledge of the situation. What happens is, and what have controlled the world, what have helped the world to survive, let me teach you. It is called life adjustments. That is it. That is all. All you need to do, all that happens is sometimes you have to make adjustments. Life is a series of adjustments. That is simply it. Sometimes the boat cracks, you end up floating or you end up drowning. You got to find another boat. You got to row this way. You got to go to a different place. The climate's too cold, too hot. Whatever it is, you are adjusting yourself, not your lens. The society that we live in now, they want you to adjust your lens and not adjust your reality, not adjust your area where you are. Your lens is your visual eye that is blocked out. Because when you use your instincts, you'll realize where you are. You'll be like, wait a minute, I'm sitting here canoeing in a swamp. Why am I canoeing in a swamp? This is not where I want to be at. Then what you do is start changing course. They realize that. So therefore, they have to lie to you. They have to give you a false sense of perception based on human characteristics. Okay, so therefore, all you doing is pretending as if things have changed because your mind have changed, because you're thinking that is differently. Anybody can do that when they put a 6-inch blunt in their mouth or a drink. Anybody can do that when you inject yourself with, here we go, medications that you get all the time over and under the counter. Anyone can do that when they're stuck on opioids and pretend as if, they're not canoeing in the desert somewhere on sand. Duh. Really? So they understand your systems, your Agent Smiths, those indoctrination people saying, I stand for God. Let me be a representative of Jim, even though Jim's not here speaking for himself, right? Because while you are suffering with just your mind being gone, you can stay in the plantation. That's the whole point. The whole point is you can stay suffering. You can stay powerless. You can stay mindless. Do you get that? You can stay out of your mind because they win when you suffer. Did you hear what I said? They win when you're sitting there suffering in the same swamp. Because should all of you get up out the swamp and leave and change your course, think differently and do better for yourself, Agent Smith will die eventually. He will lose his power just like a vampire with nothing to suck. You see how deep this thing is? I'm pretty sure y'all learned something from this. So it goes further than sitting there saying, well, I just don't believe in God. Or, what do you call that? You're pessimistic. Or you're a blasphemer. Why are you doing this? And God should strike you down. It's not even about that. If you think that way, you are a moronic child. Because I never said that. It's not about that. The rabbit hole goes deeper. I am Morpheus. Don't you know what I do? When I give you the when I give you the red pill, it's going to take you all the way down. By why you going down, you're going to see all the systems that are helping you to go down there. You're going to see all the systems that are assisting you in your mindlessness and your lack of instinct, third eye, and your awareness. So while you're going down there, there's going to be some discussion of religion, relationship, and finances and whatever else you have to go through, because all that plays against you on a general basis. That's why you struggle every day. That's why you can't find the light. That's why you're always running back to church to look for some hope, because your life is hopeless when you need to have hope in yourself. And as a matter of fact, erase hope from your vocabulary altogether. Have trust in yourself and confidence in who you are. Confidence in your own life, and do what needs to be done. Stop praying about it. Be about it. Stop thinking about it and do it after you've realized with your calculation and knowledge that it can be done. Because the only thing that make it happen is your adjustment, not your prayer. So we got to stop speaking for people who aren't present. If the big guy's not in the room, then you get the hell out. It's as simple as that. Did you hear what I said? This is Leon C, aka Morpheus. I don't lie to you like that. That would be a bold-faced lie. Oh, it's going to be okay. How do you know? You're psychic now? Do you see my life 10 years from now? Then shut the hell up. Simple as that. Don't lie to them. Just do the best thing they can tell you is just do the best you can do. Keep your head up. Be positive. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's all I said to him. Just keep your head up. Do the best that you can do. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. I used to do that. That was almost going to be my first reaction. My first reaction was going to be like, well, God's going to take care. I said, I pumped the brakes. Be like, no. God did not say that. God didn't say, I'm going to do the best you can do and be positive. That way, there is no lie. Should something happen, I'm not going to be responsible. I'm not going to be responsible. You see? Therefore, everything plays into it. So we don't be the people who are being substances of Agent Smith, because you won't be speaking for God. You'll be speaking for Agent Smith. That's who you be speaking for. And he ain't going to do nothing but continue to put stuff between you and your power. But thanks be to the universe, you have a power and you have a brother that is here to mend that piece together, to put you back together with your creator, in which you will figure out for yourself. Not in indoctrination. It's going to be outside of it. For your spirituality in your life, it's outside of religion and indoctrination. It's in nature and everything that you should know by now. If you don't know it, then you're gone. That's because you don't want to know it, and it's too much for you, and you ain't ready. You ain't ready.